So these artists, they're getting f***ed in the ass because that's their ritual. That's their rite of passage to get to the next level.
They raped this nigga. They raped this nigga. Videotape it. Then when he in the meeting, they give him a shitty contract. They play the video of him getting f***ed by like 3 niggas.
That's everybody in the music industry that you see that's successful is a homosexual. I lift my wrist. Listen, Motel 6, keep on them lights. Take a on a date, fuck her.
Chris Brown has finally decided to come forward. And what he's revealing about Diddy in court is shaking up the music industry. For years, Chris has kept his distance from the drama, but now he's breaking his silence and exposing some serious dirt on Diddy that could change everything.
You hear about the latest news with Homeland Security about how they removed a whole lot of electronics from Diddy house? You heard about that?
Bruh, they rich. They're gonna have a lot of electronics. They're gonna have a lot of laptops. They're gonna have a lot of computer stuff around there. A lot of times, people gotta be smart. You cannot hide anything on no laptop. So if they was that dumb to put any videos or anything on any of those type of electronics, you understand? It's gonna come to the forefront. Now, what they're looking for, because it was going on the premises of sex trafficking, they're looking for pictures of girls that may appear to be underage in a sexual context. Like they in a sexual act. That's what they're looking for. So now they're gonna go through all those devices. If somebody got any kind of weird fetishes that they got little kids or little girls or something like that in any kind of pictures or any kind of photos that they took out of there, then unless that individual was in the picture, who do you charge?
If I went to a Diddy party, I would be worried.
Because the houses wasn't in his name. They was in companies' names that they could say all people had all kinds of access to them. Unless somebody testify that that's Diddy's room, nobody goes in that room but him. You understand what I'm saying? That's when they get the help to come in, the maid to come in. You understand? Or the people who work there, yo, where's Mr. Combs' room? Oh, that's Mr. Combs' room. You understand what I'm saying? That's Mr. Combs' room. He only want anybody allowed in that room? Yo, not unless Mr. Combs is there. They get those people to testify. But when they got a big ass mansion like that belongs to studios or Bad Boy Films and his daughter and stuff like that, they charge the person who the house is in their name. Would he be the type of person that let his daughters know take those type of crimes? We'll see.
Yeah, that would be messed up if he let his kids take the charges. But they also reporting that, Homeland Security, when they raided Diddy, they was looking for the footage that Diddy was using to blackmail celebrities. How you feel about that?
Well, you got to look at this. They looking for anything. It's not just Lil Rob lawsuit, the blackmail stuff. Like, they can't do that. They said that it was they went in there on the premises that it was for sex trafficking and underage minors in there. So now, if everything is being taped and he's taping people doing this and they find it in their house, they got to bring the tapes back to him. They got to make sure that he's the one walking around with the video camera. If he's, you understand what I'm saying? They got to prove that.
If it was any other way, Diddy would be arrested.
And then they got to have people to come in and say that he did that. They saw him with the video camera, like Lil Rob said. He used to tape them on the phone and all that stuff like that. Maybe he had burnouts or something like that. We don't know. But when they do that raid, they ain't just looking for pictures. Whatever they find drugs, it goes to the DEA case. If they went down in a wine cellar and they found cases of Sircock with cocaine in it, coca in it, they're gonna get that to the DEA. They found a lot of guns and stuff like that, that's ATF. A lot of different agencies can get involved just on going on there on the sex trafficking case. It's whatever they find in there, bruh.
This is deeper than what you think. Diddy been having a library of celebs S-tapes, and that's powerful.
They're not just gonna limit themselves to that one thing once they got the search warrant to go in.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. How you feel about the people that feel the type of way that, you know, Diddy, he wasn't there when his kids got arrested? I think 50, he even, you know, made a comment about it saying that, you know, Diddy, he got his kids in the bullshit now.
I believe he was a coward. There's no way he should have let that happen to his kids. I believe he knew what was going down, and he probably thought they wasn't going to do that to the kids, but they did. They wanted to be gangsters. Lil Combs did, so now you're a gangster.
So you feel like Diddy, he already got a heads up, and that's the reason why he wasn't at the house?
There's allegedly a connection between what Chris Brown did to Rihanna. As there was this story, Rihanna was Drake's babes, or we can say his crush. Diddy had some beef with Kanye and Drake. Diddy has clips of almost everyone from the Diddy parties. So Diddy does an 800 IQ move, forces Chris to rough up Rihanna to get back on Drake, which would push Kanye to do something.
We're supposed to play in the NBA Celebrity All-Star game, but then he got uninvited in the last minute. You heard about that?
Yeah, they need to leave Chris Brown. That's a fucking shame. Know how many niggas that had domestic violence cases in the industry that swept under the rug? Like bro, I hate what they do to Chris Brown, bro.
Right, 'cause this was what?
He's next under Michael, bro. As far as performing, as far as, bro, Chris Brown is that nigga. Bro, Chris Brown is a bad motherfucker.
You put Chris Brown above Usher?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see the argument for it.
Yeah.
You put Chris Brown above R. Kelly?
Performance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, performance.
Yeah, R. Kelly doesn't dance.
R. Kelly, he just lick his tongue. And lick the towel.
Well, yeah. I mean, Suge Knight actually talked about it. He basically said, you know, there's a double standard where they're not forgiving Chris Brown, but they let Dr. Dre do the Super Bowl. And Dr. Dre beat up D. Barnes back in the day. You know about that, right?
I mean, I've heard. I heard.
He beat up a TV host named D. Barnes. It's a real thing.
I learned from your interviews, all this shit. That's, you know, when I watch you, know, I hear all the Dre
No, it's a real
stories.
thing. She actually, I mean, when he did a documentary, he even brought her on to talk about it. Some real shit. It's not some made up shit.
Double standards, bro. Like, yeah.
Well, but I think like also, really, you know, really what did it for Chris Brown was the photo.
Yeah.
There's no photo of D. Barnes beat up.
Yeah.
And when you look at a lot of these other domestic violence situations, there's no photos. That photo was ugly. Like both of her eyes were essentially, you know, swollen up. Had that photo not come out, I think that nothing would have happened at all. I think he'd be at a Michael Jackson level potentially right now. But that photo will you know, that photo was a motherfucker. And look, I interviewed an investigator who was on that case on Chris Brown's defense team, and he basically said that Chris Brown was attacked first by Rihanna.
When they stopped her and took her in because of her injuries, you know, Chris had injuries, but They weren't seen for several days.
Okay, because the story was that she was beating him up as well.
Yes.
How bad did she beat him up?
I haven't looked at the pictures, but I have his pictures in my file at home.
So he had bruises and scratches?
He had markings, again, he's kind of I don't want to say a tough guy, but he's not a 90-pound weakling.
Right, but Rihanna's actually pretty big also. She's like my height. I met her before.
And it's a confined area. They were fighting in the front the only part of this rented Lamborghini.
Right.
And, again, just back and forth. Now, according to Chris, she started it and he was defending himself and kept telling her to stop and stop and stop. And I get it. Yeah. And, but the police, again, it's the same thing we talked about before. They arrest first and investigate later.
That's all for today. Like and subscribe.